I want to go to the beach. I've never been.
Seriously?
Yeah, nice beach.
Hey, Mom. Colby. You're not gonna believe where I am. Utopia.
What's up, you want a drink?
I don't belong here.
She's backpacking across the country.
She doesn't have a home.
Why are you being so weird about this?
You cannot trust her.
Hi, I'm Colby.
All right, we are here with Alex Markman, writer and director of Colby. We want to thank everyone else for coming out here to watch this screening. And let's get started. So, my first question.
Wait, I just want to say, thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Any shout outs you want to make while you're here?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Randy, Rich, Melody, Diane. I saw Lynn, Helene, Paul, Jesse. Is that Diana? Mallory, Casey. Let me keep going.
No, that's fine. So most of the audience. So one of the things that struck me is right at the beginning is that independent films, they love showing off New York City skyline, the lights, especially Times Square. Mm-hmm. And yours opens with that, but then it leaves it behind for the shore setting. And I want to know what was your reasoning behind that?
It takes place on the beach, so we could have shot in like Rockaway, but it's not as nice. Mm-hmm. No, because we wanted to get out of New York to shoot the movie, and it's kind of nice when you like can isolate your crew and like force them to be in one place. So like by not shooting in New York with the New York crew, we were able to do that. So
cool. So what were some of the films that influenced you for making Colby?
Most recently, Wendy and Lucy. I was watching that a lot. Anyone see that? Who I didn't force them to watch? Yeah. Then there was this one movie. It was like a Spanish film. I forget what the name was, but it's a bunch of punk teens, and like they rob places. And there's this like one really cute girl, and she puts a mustache on. But I couldn't find a good excuse to get Colby to wear a mustache, so we scrapped that idea. I forget what that was called, though.
Maybe your next film. You can squeeze that in there.
And then there was one other movie that I'm blanking on the name right now.
So shooting at the shore and getting that location, what was that process like to be able to shoot there?
At the beach?
Yeah, at LBI.
Like what specific?
Like, did you have to go through any processes, go through like the NJ Film Commission, or did you steal those shots?
It was really simple. I mean, LBI is kind of funny because like each different strip is a different like jurisdiction. But we basically were just like, hey, we're filming this movie. Like, do we need to get permission to shoot like on the street or whatever? And they're pretty much like, do whatever you want. We'll stop you if it looks bad. And actually, like we were doing a tracking shot at like outside of the back of our car at one point, and the cop stopped us and like, don't do that. But that was our only run-in.
I'll keep that in mind for when I have to film my next one, because whenever I try and get permits, they're like, oh, $500 please. And
no, they were really cool. I mean, I feel like most places are pretty decent, except for LA about shooting. Like even in New York, as long as you don't put sticks down, like a tripod down, you can shoot wherever.
All right, now we're going to open up to the audience if anyone would like to ask any questions.
Randy? Yeah.
What is it seems like a pretty straightforward story, but is there a specific message that you wanted to relay in the movie?
It's not really like a message movie. I mean, I don't want to like impose my beliefs upon anyone. It's, I just want you to kind of see the world through this character's shoes. And that's kind of why, like, I decided to, like, we wanted to make the movie. Like, I wanted to have a kid who was kind of like, had a pretty easy life, and then someone who didn't have such an easy life. And I just wanted to sort of like put them in the same room together and see what happens. And that was sort of the inspiration for like the Colby and Sam relationship. And what kind of inspired the idea was someone broke into my parents' house at the beach, and they drank some liquor, and like a bed was unmade, and that was like all that happened. So we kind of took that idea and ran with it. And, like growing up, you're always sort of enamored by this idea of escape, I think. And then I was in like a freshman philosophy class, and I think it's like Socrates who says like you can't escape yourself. And I just wanted to like kind of explore that idea. Like this girl's running away from her problems, and she needs to like figure out that she's trying to run away from herself, which is impossible. But no messages. Hey, Keith.
Where did you do your casting? How did that come about? Because the woman who played Samantha's mother, she was unbelievable.
Yeah, she was one of she contributed the beach house, Mrs. Markman, my mom. And part of the deal was she was like, you can film here, you can like do whatever, but you need to give me a prominent role. So I put her in touch with our entertainment lawyer and tried to work that out of her clause, but she was adamant about it. So we sat down with her actually she didn't even come to the reading. I couldn't even put her through a casting. That was part of our agreement. I had to cast her as is. Like the best actors in Hollywood have that deal, and she had that deal. So like I finally got her to practice with me because she'd never acted before. So we were practicing in the kitchen like a few nights before her scenes. And she was like, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can do this." And I was like, "It's too late. Like you forced yourself into this position, and now you need to follow through." And it turned out she did a pretty decent job. So it's a Sandy Markman. Want to stand up? She also helped fill this room tonight. Yeah. That was Stephanie Brait. She's an incredible actress. I shot a short before this, completely unrelated. And, when you do like casting calls in New York, you get a lot of like beginning actors. And she showed up, and then I found out she was actually part of a pretty good talent agency, and she was just passionate about like doing projects, like whatever. And she was like one of the best actresses we'd seen. I did the film with her. She was amazing. The film was okay. And then like me and my buddy Jake, who co-directed this with me, were like, we gotta make a feature like around her. And we sort of just started like coming up with ideas, and this eventually stuck. But she's extremely talented, and she's in LA now. She's in movies, TV shows. She was on the Disney show. She wouldn't want like some Disney Channel TV show. She wouldn't want me telling anyone about. She's really good and fun to work with. Yes.
Hi, Alex.
Oh, hey.
So I kept wanting to, and hoping that her mother would pick up every time she would call home. Colby.
Oh, right.
And I was just wondering, did you ever think of moving in that direction?
Yeah, I wrote a whole scene where the mom picks up. Oh, you did? Yeah. There's like a whole backstory, but I'm not going to tell you guys about that. Yeah. It's part of the mystery of Colby. But she left, the idea is her mom is not a positive figure in her life. And, it's like, how does that like affect a person, especially, she's a relatively young person, so. But I think I let my mom read the conversation that plays out when her mom picks up, and she was like, "You can't put this in." So it was some pretty good dialogue, though. Pretty fiery.
How did you pull off those aerial shots?
There's a flight school in in Mawa, I think. It was a Tom Zerber.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, take a flight lesson and come up with us." So my camera's really small, and I was like, "Is it possible to like shoot out the window?" And they're like, "Oh, we'll open the window up for you." I was like, "All right." So at one time I stuck the camera a little too far out, and they're like nice lenses you have on these things. It's a pretty small camera. It looks really good though, as you could see. But yeah, I just went up for a flight lesson, and the guy, I was like, "Do you need to like stick to any specific like flight path up here?" He's like, "No, we could do whatever." And they started flying all around the islands, like going low, high, like showing off. And I actually didn't even get sick. I was pretty impressed with myself. But it was a windless day. We got really lucky because usually you need like some pretty serious gear to stabilize the camera. But I just kind of shot at quarter speed, which means 30 frames per second, slowed down to 24. So it's like a little slower than you perceive reality. And a relatively wide lens, but that's how we pulled it off. Yeah, no, we got lucky. It was like, I think we went out in March, and yeah, the conditions were right. He let me land the plane too. Yeah, serious. We were flying in, and he was making like adjustments when we were coming in for the landing. No, I put it down at that point. I asked him to film me, but he got scared about the prospect of holding the camera, but he was pretty quick to give me control of the plane. Yes. Diane. So, wait, huh? He didn't do anything to make it look that blue. That's actually, there's a whole process called color correction with film, and it's a pain in the ass, and people charge you a lot of money to do it. But you can pretty much affect any color on the screen as long as it's different. In which scene in particular? Actually, and the other, I have a better answer for your question. We shot on this camera called the Iconoscope. Sorry? So the question was, how did our cinematographer get the water to look that blue? Because as many of you are from New Jersey, I'm assuming, no, the water actually isn't that blue. And we took that into consideration. No, but the camera we shot with, if I'm going to get a little technical, it has a CCD sensor, which is sensitive to reds and blues in particular. So it's actually kind of a fault of the camera, and the lenses we were using were also like a little cooler. So definitely pushed things to a cooler palette. Cool, thanks. Rich? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no, that's the idea. That you're, what? So the question was, how did we shoot the scene where she's swimming out into the ocean, and what was the thought process behind it? She was just like frustrated and sort of at like wit's end and didn't know what to do. And I think like, it's the equivalent of lashing out. She just like swam into the ocean because she was just frustrated, I think. I mean, I don't know. It seems like something someone without putting too much thought into it might do if they were at the ocean and they didn't have anywhere to go, being what she'd been through. I don't know. But in terms of filming it, that's an easier question. We just put a plastic casing around the camera.
Yes, the man in the back.
Yeah, as the writer, one of the things that seemed like it would have been difficult choice to make is for the father figure. When Colby rings the doorbell, there's the confliction between not wanting to let the family know what happened, but also protecting the family and kind of letting that go for it. How did you deal with that as the writer as you move from scene to scene?
That was like always tricky. Like, we tried to handle it in the writing of it, and then in like actually performing the scenes, and then like when we were editing it, and like second part to your question is like editing in my mind is like as much of a writing process as writing is. But I mean, we were just mindful, and the actor, like Matthew Dixon, who plays George, was we were having lots of conversations because he liked to try and articulate the motivations of his character, like about how he would be reacting to Colby, but how he I don't know. It was just like he thought she was attractive, and he also wanted to be loyal to his family. That was how he approached it. And I guess as a writer, from a writing perspective, I don't know. He just was like he got into an unlucky situation, and she was definitely a cunning character, and she manipulated him. He's kind of he as a person is like he's kind of like a funny guy himself. So we sort of had fun with the idea that, like, you know, he might not always make the best decision, and he might not be able to articulate to his wife like how he got into that stupid situation. You know, he probably had a few too many drinks that night.